because I know you love to. I would do it, I just don't have a device. So I'm currently in my audio app. Please have audio.
It's still waiting for you to start the stream in OBS.
Yep,
Oh,
I
wait,
just
there it
did.
goes.
I just clicked it.
Oh, okay.
Currently in my audio app.
It's still waiting for you to start. Yeah, it's working.
All right, cool. So we're live. What are we doing?
All right.
I feel like a dope with this thing on.
What's up, Yes? How you doing? I'm pretty loud now.
Okay, good.
Like too loud?
Your peak meter is higher than mine in my audio software. I can turn you down.
Interesting.
Here, you don't do anything. Let me just turn you down. Ask people.
Well, you're not controlling.
Yeah.
No, you're not. They're not listening to you.
Oh, you mean in Discord, not on the stream? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Please hold. Oh. When did that get reset? Hold on.
I wish I had that hold music I could play right now.
Does that sound better? Less peaky? Maybe? Sean, talk.
Hi, how are you doing?
Maybe you're quiet, Sean.
I can turn me up if you want me to. I got plenty of gain. Would you like me to do that? Can everyone tell me if that's any better? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
All right. We might have a good balance.
That good? Yes? No?
I don't know. I can only hear one of us.
Same here.
All right, Adrian's our producer.
How we sound, Adrian?
Says he likes it.
Okay. So I will leave that gain setting.
Is it better? Yes? Confirmation?
Confirmation? Testing?
Confirmation station. That's a Marvel vs. Capcom reference, by the way.
You got a lot of references tonight that are just going way over my head.
More of an FGC reference. Do you even know what FGC is?
Fagic the Gathering? I don't know. Wait.
There you go.
FCG?
No.
What did you say? FGC?
FGC.
That would be FGC.
Fighting game community.
I knew it was something about like a game. I couldn't remember. Yeah, it made me think of MTG.
Figs, games, and cards.
Do you see? Oh, you can't.
All right, hold on. All right.
You can't see it. You can't see it. Look. Look.
What?
Oh.
What are you showing me? Your element?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing it for real now.
Death Star on it?
It's actually a moon. So my knob is the moon, so I can rotate the moon in the space.
And you have stars, right?
Yeah.
Can you turn it so that it catches the light just so? That's pretty cool.
I like it. Although I'll be honest, the new model with the translucent acrylic knob is sexy as hell. But you know me and my translucent...
What I want to know is what is the resistance on the knob? Because I have an element 2, care of Adrian here, actually. And I love the giant knob, but I wish it had more resistance on it.
Let's see. If you can see that, that's not affecting it. Let's see all the different objects. No, just kidding. I mean, like
it's similar, Adrian.
Like if I rub it with my pinky, like you know.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. See, I want it to be tighter. I want it to be like.
I can understand that. I don't feel a problem at all with mine. I'm so used to it though.
Yeah.
But I could see like a little bit more firmness. But what I like about it is when you want to do very fine control, it's very precise. I don't feel like I'm fighting against any resistance, but it's not so loose that it freely spins either. I think it's pretty good balance. Which version does he have?
He's had both 2 and 3.
Okay.
Did you see, Adrian, that there's a 4?
Yeah.
Just announced today, I think.
That's awesome. And it supports SquigLink.
Yeah, really. It's got more PEQ filters. He said it supports SquigLink.
It's 10-band EQ
SquigLink exports
with 2 high-res EQ bands as well, like above 192. It said something like that. It's kind of weird.
Oh, interesting.
and it had what I didn't know. I just found out today is you can actually adjust those EQ values on the element screen itself. So if you
Yeah.
didn't want to have to rely on anything, you could do it all in its own internal, menus. But they give you that core OS thing to kind of make it a lot easier using the browser. And it sounds
Right.
like they might actually do something with the phone, like OS support for phones. But they were kind of gauging the community on that.
Mm.
So.
All right. I guess I can hit a button and it will alert people that we're doing this.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Let's do it.
Wait, how do I do it?
Now, just so you know, I can't see Discord or YouTube or anything, so I'm just relying on you for everything. All I can see is my audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, you gotta have multiple screens, bro.
Well, I'm blindfolding. I'm not supposed to see my IEMs.
Sure.
I
I've got. Oh, that's
cheat.
true.
If I saw the screen, I would know what I was
True.
looking at.
That's true. Okay.
Excuse me. It's gonna be the one night I have a cough all night, probably.
It's weird. I don't see the. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're doing some blind listening. Yis says you're still a little bit quiet, by the way. I don't know if you have more headroom or not.
I got plenty of headroom. How much you want? Is that any better? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. I did move a little bit farther away, but
that sounds quite a bit louder.
Is that too much?
I don't know.
How about that? Testing. Anything?
We're good.
We're good?
Good.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks. Good. We got good, which sounds very confident, and we got good, I think, which sounds tentative, but I'm good with it.
You're good with the good?
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to hit start the stage.
I don't even know what we're doing, by the way. He's told me nothing other than there's IEMs that are...
I mean, it's not like I have plans or anything.
Well, I mean, are we doing like a frequency response guessing game or something? Or is there some kind of comparison you're looking for? Like, what am I trying to determine? Price point?
Just what you like. I just want to know what you like.
Cool. Okay.
All right. I have hit the start button, which is going to be blowing up people's phones, apparently. Gives them alerts. And there we go. What's up, Syed? Symphony, Wejdev, how you doing? EG Man, good to see you. Been chilling. Always good to see some new faces here. How's it going? What we're going to be doing is some live blind listening. I sent Sean, how many did I send you? I think I sent you 5 IMs or 4 IMs. I can't remember, actually.
I don't know. I haven't opened it.
Oh, well, you opened it enough to get the...
I just pulled that out of the edge and shut it. So I think...
Pulled the DAP out.
If I had to guess based on the size, there's 4 or 5.
I think there's 4 in there. I was going to send you 6 plus the DAP, but then I would have had to move up to a bigger size USPS box.
I'm glad you sent that
took
DAP.
2 out.
For anyone that's wondering, he sent me a Hibby or Hibby M300, which I am almost immediately going to buy because it's on Black Friday for $140 something, I think. And it's awesome.
And there's like a $20 off coupon. I thought it was like under $140.
It was on sale for $159 and the coupon brought it to $140 something.
Okay.
So, although I haven't,
pretty ridiculous.
I haven't bought it yet, but I might get it on Amazon because it's like $10 more on Amazon, but I would be here in 2 days and I would have their return policy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know though. It's all sold by Hibby either way.
Fair. Cool. So I sent you a handful of IMs. I know you like dynamic drivers.
I do.
So I sent you 4 dynamic driver IMs that have come out this year, I believe.
Oh.
Hold on, is that true? Now I'm forgetting what I sent you. I don't remember what I sent you.
I can start taking things out.
I keep a list, so I have it in my list what I sent you.
He's very organized. He's organized.
All of these IMs came out this year.
He's organized and he has a cat. Do the math.
I have 2 cats.
See?
Right, I can keep track of how many cats I have.
He has a spreadsheet for tracking his cats.
That's true. But yeah, so I sent you 4 IMs, 4 dynamic driver IMs that have come out this year.
I'm going to blindfold myself.
I mean, I certainly have my preferences, but I did not send you any of them that I think are bad. So just as a heads up, you don't need to be looking out for any tricks or anything. This is just kind of curious to get your impressions, listening to them,
Okay.
and talking about what you like, what you don't like.
How did you get these in here?
And then what I want you to do while you're listening blind is to
I can't even get them out.
tell us what type of metal coating is on the drivers.
Oh, easy,
okay?
easy.
And then after you figure that out, I wanna know how many hours each one seems like it's been burned in.
Perfect. No problem.
Okay.
That's cake. I'll also tell you exactly how many coil windings there are on the driver back.
Okay. Well, Adrian had another good suggestion, which was to tell us what material the cables are made out of. If it sounds like a copper cable or a silver cable, or an SPC, which is a silver-plated copper, which is kind of combining both of them.
You guys are ridiculous. How about this? I'll tell you if sound comes out of both earpieces or not.
That will be. Hopefully, it does that. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, are these all ready to go? I hope. Like, I don't have to do
They
anything.
should be. I think I connected them all with 3.5 mil cables. There was one I actually almost sent you without a cable, and then I realized that was dumb.
It's amazing how
So
simple
you're unwinding.
how simple it is to unwind these when you can see them, and when you can't, how difficult it is.
I know. I Rhodey wrapped it perfectly too, so it should have been easy.
It wasn't
But
too
I think
bad.
I know which one you're.
Okay.
I think I know which one this is.
I'm gonna
Do you
take.
mind holding it up? That didn't help a lot, but yeah, there's only one of four that it could be. Any guesses in the chat?
I can tell
I'll
you.
tell you guys.
How about this? I'll tell you every single thing I can to describe what I'm experiencing. How's that?
There you go.
The cable has a cord lock. That's nice. I like that. Ooh, very small. It feels plastic in the middle. It feels like an automotive cable with the kind of like half rubber, half plastic feel. It's not really like soft or hard. It's kind of in the middle. The housing feels like plastic or resin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna guess it's like I don't know. They're very similar. Plastic or resin, I don't know. It's a 2-pin connector. I'm guessing by the way it feels. It's got that kind of moondrop thing. Straight edge connector. It all feels kind of plastic. All right, I'm gonna swap it in and see if it works. Hold on a second.
Any guesses from chat? This is one I did a video. Okay, I shouldn't even say.
All right, I hear you.
I was gonna say when I did the video, but that would give too much away.
I'm gonna take the head thing
Except
off.
you don't watch
'cause I
you
can't
don't
see.
watch my show.
Okay. All right. So I am in my music app here. They're pretty lightweight, fairly comfy. Do you want me to just start listening to music? Tell you what I think?
Yeah. Tell us what you're listening to, why you're listening to it,
Okay.
what you're listening for. How does it make you feel?
I'm already checking out bass with the Justin Bieber song, everybody's favorite, "Take You" by Justin
Of
Bieber,
course.
because it has a good tight
Yep.
hitting bass. I like to use it as a bass test, really. So let me check that out.
What's up, Juan? Fellow Justin Bieber enthusiast.
Okay. Right off the bat, the frequency response is pretty good. Listening to Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay. Belieber's pulling up.
Sounds a little V-shaped.
You
Like
have
treble's a little bit crisp, but not in a bad way.
okay.
It's actually not. I don't
Am
hear
I
any.
mixed?
Go ahead.
Am I mixed into your audio with the music?
You are, yeah. Should I not have you?
Oh, okay. No. I actually wasn't sure because I know like previously I couldn't talk to you while you were listening.
Yes, because I was. Yeah, this is a better setup. So, Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Bass is nice. Treble's clear, crisp and precise.
All the best words.
I'm gonna listen to
Does it
Sarah.
have a rich? lush mid-range?
No, I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, okay. I was just going through all the audiophile tropes. Liquid treble. Juan wants to know.
I mean, like, I'll be honest. I'd say it's maybe slightly V, but it sounds pretty dang linear just off the bat. Like I like it a lot, actually. The treble is like very clear and open sounding, but it doesn't sound harsh at all. Here, let's do a test. David Benoit, every step of the way. Lots of cymbals. And a little nice kick drum.
I do cymbal sound on it.
I would say it just sounds like there's a little extra treble somewhere, but it's not a peak. It's more like a bump. You know what I mean? It's not like a sharp, like annoying peak. It's kind of like a gentle elevation somewhere that's giving it kind of a brightness that's just brighter than like probably what I would consider perfectly neutral, but it sounds smooth enough that it's not at all objectionable.
Okay.
Freedom at Midnight by David Benoit, the climax. Has some awesome drums into a whole bass drum jazz thing. I like it.
Bass drum jazz thing.
Okay, I'm just going to zip through these. Game of Love by Daft Punk.
Ooh.
This is great for kick drum tests because the kick drum in this song is so well recorded and it's so easily masked by poor bass and poor mid bass. For anyone listening, around like 25 seconds or no, right?
What's up, Audiotron?
32 seconds. At exactly 32 seconds in Game of Love by Daft Punk, if you have a really nice set of earphones or speakers or whatever, the kick drum has a really, really awesome, realistic, kicky sound to it there. You have the tap and the snap of the pedal on the drum, but you also get the thump, and it sounds very tight and good. And on a lot of headphones, that comes off as kind of soft and kind of padded and woolly sounding. So I always listen to that exact, like, 32-second kick drum.
Is that on Game of Love?
Yeah. And it sounds pretty good. It's not the best I've ever heard, but it does sound clear, and it sounds good. I like it. I'm listening to Within by Daft Punk. Get the piano tonality. I'm going to use audio terms here. I'd say it has good soundstage, and I think it sounds like I can hear, as I smack my mic, I can hear into the depth of the recorded environment. That's kind of how I look at soundstage. I can listen to Lose Yourself to Dance for some bass and treble clarity. Okay, I'm going to go to Tomahawk by BT for some sub-bass goodness. Might turn this down, actually.
Adrian is asking, how much is the most expensive set that I sent you? I'm going to tell them and not you. What's up, Charlie? Hey, Rob, how's it going? How's the power?
I would say, sorry, I can hear you, but when I'm playing the music, I have the music loud and you quiet so that it's not like interfering with the music as much.
Yeah, it's better.
So if I can't hear you, that's
sorry. I was talking with chat.
That's good. They seem like the bass is focused in the lower sub and mid. I mean, low and sub bass, not mid bass focus.
Okay.
It's got some pretty good sub bass actually. I'm gonna listen to Suddenly by BT for dynamics. That sounds pretty awesome. I like that. I'm going to listen to Make Love Stay by Dan Fogelberg. It's got some nice acoustic guitars. Okay, that's nice. I'm going to listen to more Fogelberg real quick. Longer for strings and guitar. Fogelberg? So in this song, Longer, at 10 seconds, you can hear some guy like moving his chair in the orchestra, and it like creaks. And you can like, if you're on a good set, you can really hear that like you're like in the orchestral hall with them. And then the strings have this really gorgeous like vibrato thing that you can hear with a nice treble that's not sharp or anything. It's just kind of detailed. It's nice.
You know what we should do next time?
These sound good though. I like these. I would say like, what's that? What should we do?
We should. I still haven't figured out how to do this on my end either. So I wouldn't propose us trying to do this right now. But because I'm streaming this on Discord now instead of YouTube, like we can get away with streaming music. So it'd be cool to like patch into what you're listening to.
Definitely.
You can, like, show us.
That would be cool, actually. We should do that next time. Yeah, right now we probably should just stick with what we have, but that's why I'm trying to explain it. So I'm listening to Black Cow by Steely Dan. This is an awesome analog recording. It's got a really, really, really low level of tape hiss, but the percussion and the instruments have a lot of dead space between them, so you have a lot of like darkness and dynamic space between instruments. I don't know, it's just a really good mix. I like it. Sounds good. And then IGY in Green Flower Street by Donald Fagen, who's Steely Dan, basically. These are awesome recording mixes. Okay, now I'm going to listen to Hotel California from Hell Freezes Over, because I like the ambient quality of the recording, like the venue that they're at. I'm kind of pretty familiar with that. I have the DTS surround sound version of it, and CD's not as good, but it still does a good job of capturing the ambience, and that comes across good with like good frequency response.
Is this the famous audiophile version?
Famous audiophile version? What do you mean? It's just
I feel like
the standard Hell
Hotel
Freezes Over
California
CD.
is like that's the song that everyone cites as like their audiophile listening track or test track.
Well, I have the original and the Hell Freezes Over version. The Hell Freezes Over is the acoustic guitar version with bongos and stuff.
Okay.
But they both sound great to me.
All right, I got confirmation in chat that that's the audiophile one.
Yeah. The bongos sound friggin' awesome.
The best bongos?
No, like in these headphones.
Oh, okay.
They hit really deep, but like,
yeah,
they sound really good.
IAMs are so good, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I like these. These are nice. I don't want to spend too much time on just one set if you want to switch those. Let me do one last check. This is the Ori soundtrack, Will-O'-the-Wisps by Gareth Coker. Quillox Hollow.
It's a video game.
Yeah, but it doesn't deserve that title. It's like the best soundtrack of ever. Quillox Hollow has some male choir voices in it and strings that sound easily melded together on a lot of sets, and on a good set you can hear like the individual voices of the guys. It's pretty cool. And then on the final track of the album, it's got some gorgeous lush strings with a nice clear oboe and stuff, and I'm just gonna listen to those real quick. Here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's the chill test. Sounds really good. Here we go.
In chat, what's the best video game OST?
Dude, the treble on these are really good. That orchestral thing sometimes like jumps out at you a little if there's any kind of peaks in the treble, and it didn't sound bad at all. So these are very good. I like these. The Like, if I was to compare them to the Kato, which has been my, like, main IEM for a long time, the Kato sound, like, softer than these do. They sound like just a little bit less aggressive. That's not a good word, because these aren't aggressive. I don't know, they just sound soft, and I think it's probably the mid-bass in the Kato, and maybe just the treble shape. I don't know. Kato also has a lot less 10K than these. I think these have more upper treble than Kato, so they come off as sounding a little bit more extended and clear to me. I don't know how much of that is the actual treble elevation relative to the bass versus like actually having more treble. I don't really know. So for now, I would say that's probably a good test of these. If you want me to go to the next one, what do you think? You want me to check anything else specifically?
I guess.
Or are you looking for any other descriptions?
What driver coding? What driver coding on this one? I'm just kidding. Do you
Hold
have
on, no,
a price guess on this?
I'm gonna guess the driver coding. I'm gonna guess it's.
I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't care enough to look it up.
Well, obvious sugar coated ceramic metallurgy. So what were you gonna say?
Yeah. Price. You have a price guess?
I hope they're really cheap. I would guess. This is such a stupid thing because IEMs have been getting so good and so cheap lately, but relative to quality that I would expect, I'd price them at the $400 range. They make me think of like Dunu in terms of like technical performance and quality. So I'd say maybe around that $300-400 maybe, but the way they feel, I'm gonna guess maybe $250 with like the resin shell and the cable, but I honestly have no clue. I mean, I'm just guessing.
Okay. And you mentioned you've been listening to the Kato as kind of your benchmark. Is that what you've been listening to the most lately? Because I know you've been listening to some other stuff earlier this year.
No, I've been listening to the ER4S almost exclusively lately with EQ.
Gotcha.
And it's funny because it's not dynamic driver, but that's still probably one of my favorite of all time with EQ. Even without EQ, I like it, but with the EQ, I've kind of tweaked it. It's just, it sounds awesome. I love it. It's so dead silent because of the isolation, and with the proper EQ, it just opens up the bass and treble, and it just sounds freaking liquid smooth and clear. And it doesn't sound as good as a dynamic driver. It still has a softness to it, but just the revealing quality of like what you can hear is just like almost unmatched. Kato sounds so like Kato sounds better in terms of the tactile dynamic quality of it, but I mean Kato sounds grainy compared to the ER4S. Like literally, like when I switch to it, I'm like, man, there's a treble peak and it sounds rough, and like it doesn't in a general sense, but compared to ER4S, it's just not even close. Like the ER4S is like liquid butter. These sound smoother than the Kato to me, even though they have more treble. I feel like the response on these is less wonky in the upper treble, but I mean, this is a pretty brief listen, so I can't make any bold claims, but I don't hear any potential issues with these other than maybe the mid section isn't as lush as it could be. Like it's like I'd almost agree with you in the sense that these are probably not perfectly linear in the like mid to lower region, which doesn't sound bad. It sounds great. It makes them sound clear and tight and precise, but maybe not lush. If you're looking for something lush, I would say these are not it. It's focused more in like the sub bass and upper treble, but I like it because I'm on the fence with like liking perfectly neutral or maybe just a little bit of a V. Like, you know how I EQ my low bass a little bit different than you do. So I'd have to have more time with them, but I think they sound really good, honestly.
Yeah, and I guess I was remembering that earlier this year you were pretty smitten by the 02, right?
And I still love the 02, but the 02 I have found over time sounds like it has less resolution than the Kato. Which is funny, because the Kato has like a grainier quality, and the 02 has a smoother quality, which I like both for different reasons. I would still wholeheartedly recommend the 02 for the price. It's a no-brainer. It's like probably the best thing I've heard at the price. But compared to Kato, it sounds a little less confident, if that's a word. Like the bass and the treble have a little bit less. Like it's almost like I'd say it sounds squishier and softer, but relatively it's very small. But just from a critical standpoint, I would say high quality wise, the Kato's better. But I mean, they're so close that for the price, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to go to the Kato. If you have the 02, just be happy with it.
Except the Kato's made of metal.
It is. I like the Kato. I like the design of the Kato.
Yeah.
It's pretty robust. Any other things you want me to check, or you want to go to another set?
No, I think we can move on to the next one.
All right. I'm going to blindfold myself.
Shout out to Timmy for joining. What's up, Timmy? How you doing, man?
My blindfold.
So for folks that have joined since I talked about this before, basically I sent Sean 4 mystery single dynamic driver IMs because I know he likes single dynamic drivers.
I'll be right back while you do that.
And he is blindfolding himself as he unboxes them and listens to them and tells us what he hears.
Try to keep these in the
previous versions of this, I've sent him, like the last time I think I sent him a mix of dynamic drivers and balanced armature sets, and he was trying to guess which were which ended up actually being harder than you might guess.
Hey, that one came right out.
Great podcasts to listen to while filming B-rolls. Nice.
Plugging in.
Timmy, do you have a gimbal?
All right, I'm in and I'm turned up. Excuse me.
Oh, you didn't show me what you had in your... You didn't show it to me.
I did not, but I can tell you it's got a fabric cable. Does that tell you what it is? It feels like a fabric...
Yes, I know what it is. Yes. Yes, I know what this is.
It is fabric, but it breaks out into rubber at the top. I didn't feel that... I'm going to shut my eyes here.
No, that's okay. I know what it is.
I'm just trying to feel what it feels like plastic, not resin. Just kind of like a plastic material. Comfortable, lightweight, straight connector. Cable's kind of thick on the bottom, but it's not bad. All right. So I'm going to go through the same run of songs just real quick and kind of tell you what I think. Take You by Bieber. Let's see how the bass... This has more treble peak right off the bat, like immediately. I don't know if it's the fit or the tips, but there's definitely a peak there. It's not like the worst I've heard, but it's obvious to me. Let's hear. I'm going to go to Daft Punk Game 11, see if I can. Yeah, it's in the like area of the drums. They just sound very like exaggerated. Like now again, you probably know as good as I do that tips make a difference. So I don't want to jump out and say it's the IEMs. I'd have to probably mess around with a couple tips and make sure they all fit good and everything. But they feel like they're in there and they seal well.
Okay.
And it's not like extreme.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do some BT here. They don't sound as bassy as the last set, but they extend to the sub bass really nicely. So I'd say these almost have a leaner overall sound. Yeah, the peak is really annoying on Surrounded by BT, because the beginning has this cymbal drum thing that goes, and it's like, in a normal set it's just like, and on these it's like, and it like sounds drastic. So that's interesting.
Do you have like a frequency range?
Let me listen to a few songs real quick. It's funny because on acoustic music, you don't hear it much at all. Like it might give you more sense of airiness, but like it's less obvious. Let me listen to... Let's see, what's a good treble test? Actually, let me listen to the Ori. Here, the clarity is...
What's up, Blaine? How's it going?
I'll go back to Bieber here.
Sean doesn't know what IM is in his ear right now.
Let's Fleetwood Mac it up here. If I had to guess, I mean, without using any EQ, there might actually be 2 peaks, but the one I'm hearing the most is probably 11K, but I'm not positive. Somewhere around there.
Okay.
I could probably pinpoint it easier if I used EQ, but I don't want to get all that set up. And if I had to guess, it's probably... I shouldn't even guess this. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to guess it's like 5 decibels more than my target relative to the frequencies around it. Maybe more. It's pretty obvious. Like Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac is like... So...
Interesting. Okay.
But that sounds like it could be... That's why I'm not sure if there's 2 peaks, because that almost sounds like it's more around like the 5 or 6K in that song. But it's hard to say. I just would say there's not a perfectly linear treble in this set. There's something off to my ear. Overall tonal balance is pretty good. Acoustic music sounds really good because they sound clear and open and pretty nice. But I do think they're kind of leaning towards lean sounding.
Mm-hmm. Not a bass headset?
I mean, they have good bass. Yeah, at higher volumes, too, the treble kind of makes it a little more, like, annoying sounding. With lots of drums and stuff. Like, the peaks pierce through a little bit more. I'm going to listen to Lose Yourself to Dance.
In other words, you're going to lose yourself to dance.
That's right. I mean, it sounds good. It's not really... It's funny, it's very song dependent. Like, some songs I don't really hear it, and other songs it's very obvious. Let me listen to Hotel California again. I'd say these have more like... I'd almost say the bass on these is more linear than the last set. It's a level I like more. Because it's not as like the bass on the other set sounded louder, but it hit sub bass and low bass really good. This almost sounds like it's a little lower in terms of volume, but I like the shape of it. And it hits firm. I mean, the treble is very clear. Guitars sound very distinct, but when you hear strumming like fling and fling, it sounds exaggerated. Not bad, not annoying or anything, but just it doesn't sound neutral to me. But they sound good. Let me do the Ori in track here with the oboes and stuff. Yeah, and stuff like this, it sounds great. Because the oboes and the strings just...
With oboes?
Yeah, because it brings out like all the nuances and the breathing and stuff, but they're not so exaggerated that it sounds fake. It almost sounds like ultra high def orchestra. But just in general, I don't know which I think sounds better, because I feel like the last set didn't have as many obvious peaks or anything like that. Like, it almost sounds smoother, but this one has more linear bass, maybe, or at least the bass levels a little bit to my liking. But the treble sounds like it's a little bit peaky, which makes it perceived as brighter. So I would say overall these are a little leaner sounding than the last set, and maybe a little less U-shaped and more towards brightness. But I don't know. I don't have any, long-term listening. But that's what I'd say right off the bat. Ow.
All right. We got a driver coding guess on this one.
These are I don't know, ceramic
Swiss cheese,
halide peanut butter.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
All right, next set.
Sup, Huck? Yeah, we can move on to the price guess actually real quick.
Gosh, I'm gonna hate to say this because they're probably gonna be like some ridiculous expensive, but I would guess based on the way they feel, like $50.
Okay. Whoa. All right.
They feel like they're. Oh, hold on a second. I can't tell. The shape makes me think it's also a 2-pin connector, but it feels kind of weird. It's not like straight like the normal ones, but that could just be that it's this proprietary one or something. But it's wider than it is, or sorry, longer than wide. So I'm assuming it's 2-pin. Yeah, I don't know. The cable is a little bit hard to gauge because it feels like it's fabric, and that could mean all sorts of things. But the IEMs feel like something that it reminds me of like the Crinical Zero or something. They just feel like that cheap plastic, which doesn't necessarily mean it's cheap IEM, but that's what they feel like. So I'm going to guess $50. Sound-wise, I don't know. I mean, they're pretty good. Maybe $100, $150. That's kind of my guess.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Blindfold back on as he takes the earphones off and puts on the next pair. I trust you're putting these down in an organized way that you can get back to them.
I can tell which ones I'm putting on the very right-hand side was the first one, like very corner of my desk, and this one I'm going to put next to that. So hold on a second. Boom, 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 boom. This will be number 2. Would be to the left. So 1,
Walkman
2.
says, "I love when people do live or do blind price guesses."
What is that? Oh.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to do at like a can jam, especially.
Okay. See if I can do this. I'm just gonna do that. Maybe. Does that work? Still got it tangled. You gotta be kidding me. Maybe the roadie wrap is not the way to go. Maybe you need the primary musician wrap.
Let me see.
Those roadies don't know what they're doing.
I think I know what this one is. I think.
Okay. These are going to go in a second. I'm going to feel them. They feel like they're resin on the inside. I don't know what the outside is. It feels like it has like a plate on it or something. Holy mamacita. You there?
Yep.
Okay. They feel weird. They feel like they're resin. It must be writing. There's like words on the outside or something because it feels like there's like a texture to them. You know what they are? Or do I need to show you them?
I think I know what it is. Yeah.
They have like a texture to them.
Okay.
They're flat on the outside, and they have another. Oh, it might be 2-pin still, but it feels round. I wonder if they're. I was gonna say they don't rotate. Yeah, so they're probably 2-pin. Where'd the cords go? They feel a lot like the Zero cable did. It's kind of like a smooth, rubbery feel. I actually like this cable a lot. This is nice. Yeah, it reminds me of the Zero cable.
Okay.
All right.
The Zero cable's like, is that a too wide cable, or no?
What do you mean too wide? Like?
Is it like 2 cables like stuck to each other?
I can't.
Flat?
One of them I think is just a single core around the cables, and then it splits at the Y, so it feels like a single core on the bottom half.
Okay.
That's the one I use because I switched it to my Kato actually because I like the size of it. I don't know if the old Zero had more of a dual split kind of thing. These tips are weird. They feel like every now and then I feel tips that feel like they're chalky, like they're dry. It's kind of weird. I'm just making sure they're in.
I forget which tips I put on here. I think these might be MS42 tips, but I can't remember.
They feel they're sealing though, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Here we go. Same roll of songs here.
All right. I don't think they're velvets.
These are my least favorite so far.
Okay.
I know I make quick judgments, but man, like some things just jump out at me. They sound softer and less dynamic and less tactile again, none of these sound like horrible. Like overall responses aren't like really wonky or anything, but the bass just does not hit like the other ones at all.
Okay.
Let me go to Every Step of the Way by David Benoit. It's got good drums.
Do you have any cigarettes after sex?
I do. Yeah, these have treble peaks.
Not the music. Not the music.
Oh yeah, in real life, yeah, absolutely. There's a treble peak again. Maybe tips. I'd say it's at 13K, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 14K. Maybe higher.
You peak at 14K.
What's that?
I said you peak at 14K.
They're kind of on the brighter side, but the bass just doesn't do it for me. They just sound rounder in the bass, like it's not as tight, deep sub bass. They're not bad. I mean, they're just not. If I had to guess, they have more like 80 to 200 hertz rather than like a nice upward sweep up into the sub bass. Let me go to Daft Punk here. So that's 32-second mark I was telling you about. Yeah, it's weird. There's like something weird going on in the mids or lower treble, almost like they sound hollow somewhere, like there's something missing. And then the bass comes in with a little bit of a soft, round quality to it. I'm going to do some BT real quick.
What does BT stand for?
Brian Transo, that's his name.
Brian Transo?
Transo.
Doesn't stand for brain trance?
Maybe. Listen to Longer by Dan Fogelberg. See how it does with strings. Yeah, these have a lot of like maybe mid treble. Like not a lot, but I mean that's their dominant region probably if I had to guess. Maybe a little bit less of the upper mids and more lower treble. Let me listen to Hotel California. Yeah, they just don't do it for me like the same. Like the bass is there, the bongos hit pretty good, the crispness is there, they're pretty detailed, but there's something missing and they just sound like they don't capture the atmosphere of the recording accurately. So they sound a little bit more scooped out somewhere or maybe hollow in a way, and I'm not really sure what it is. I'm going to listen to that Ori track at the end. Yeah, I think they may even have more like 400 hertz or something. I feel like the bass, it's weird. The bass isn't so much that it's muffling anything. So maybe it's like, where is that? Let's see. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're fairly linear. It's just the bass shape is just not as my liking. I think is what it is. Maybe it's less sub bass dominant, and that's just throwing me off. But there's something somewhere that just doesn't capture the actual realism of recording the same as the other two did to my ears. I don't hear any glaring problems. I don't hear any like drastic peaks or dips or anything. But I would say if I had to guess that there's something in the shape of the response that's just not in alignment with what I consider a neutral target. So maybe, and I'm just guessing here, but maybe like the treble shape is maybe offset one way or the other or something. It sounds like the curve isn't where it should be to give a natural presentation. So that's how it comes off to my ears.
Okay. If you were to rank the three that you've heard so far, and you can go back and re-listen to them later, and you can change this answer, but just kind of off the top of your head, what are you thinking right now?
Quality was definitely number 1. Tonality, number 2. And this one, number 3. I think if number 1 had the bass quantity of number 2, it would be the best, no question. But I think number 2 had a better bass quantity. What I've found over the last 20 years of listening to earphones is the more I get used to an earphone, the happier I am with less bass, if that makes sense. Because when you initially listen to an earphone, you're usually just kind of like looking for bass and listening for it. So if you don't hear it, you're like, oh, it doesn't have a lot of bass. But when you're familiar and you're just enjoying music, you say, wow, that bass sounds great. I can hear all the detail. It's hitting nice and tight. It's great. The second set gave me that impression, almost like it was a good amount of bass, not too much, and really good quality. The first set sounded really good. I like the sub-bass focus. But I would say that from a clinical standpoint, maybe it was a little too much. But I'm talking a little bit. Like, I definitely would be happy with either of those in terms of bass quantity. I'm not a bass head, but I do like good, deep bass. So these, from a bass standpoint, they don't hit the sub-bass deep for me. Like, they're not deep, punchy sub-bass, like really, really low. And the mid-bass just sounds kind of round and not as thumping, tight, crisp bass. It's more just like instead of like a kick drum having a dun, dun, dun quality, it's got like more of a bum, bum, bum quality. So it sounds a little bit duller, which makes them sound less dynamic almost. And what I mean by dynamic is like instrumentation doesn't jump out at you as much. Like the BT music, all the treble is pretty clear and everything, but on the first set, it was like the bass would slam and stop and slam and stop in a really like dynamic way, and the treble would be doing its fancy little things. And the second set, same thing, maybe a little more treble clarity and sharpness, with the bass sounding a little bit tighter but not as full. And on these, the bass just doesn't have that pounding quality to it. It sounds more soft. And the treble doesn't have the natural openness. It sounds more like off. I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't sound right to me. Something's off about it. So anyway, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but next set.
Okay. We can do it. We can move on to the next one. Which, if my calculations are correct, before you even open it, I can tell you what it is.
Well, if you know the other three, I would hope so.
Yeah, that was my calculations.
I'll be right back. Okay. 1, 2, 3 in order. 4. I'm going to grab it from the headphones this time. Did that work any better? Oh, so close. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to plug these in a second. I would say they feel like a full resin mold of some sort. You there?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I do want to stress this, and I'm not making excuses for my horrible audio analysis, but tips do make a big difference. I don't feel like any of these tips have really had any problems, but I do know for a fact, like the Kato, if I use the SpinFit CP100 fit tips versus the Kato, whatever they're called, spring tips.
Spring tips.
The SpinFit gives me more upper treble, which is actually verified by graphs, and I like it. It makes the Kato sound more neutral to me, whereas the spring tips make them sound a little bit soft in the treble, which just slightly, but it makes a difference to me. With the Etymotic, the silicone gives the sound like a harder treble quality, whereas the foam kind of smooths it out a little bit, just a smallest bit, but it does make a difference. So like some of this treble stuff I'm describing, I might find if I swap tips, it might be a little bit worse or better. I don't know. So Here we go. These are in Did I guess the price on that last set?
You didn't know, actually. I was going to ask you.
Oh, what did I describe them as? Were those the ones with the name on the
Ra-
outside
Yeah, and rounded
and the
base.
resin on the inside? I would hope they're no more than $80. Sound wise,
Okay.
I'd say $50 to $80 sound quality wise. Cable and build wise, I would assume they're probably in the $150 to $200 range, like physically, but I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Last round. Okay. These sound the least V-shaped of all of them, I think.
Okay.
Game of Love, let's see. Not too bad. BT. Not too bad. There's something in the treble.
You mean this color, Timmy?
I'm going to do the Hotel California. This song's awesome. With a nice treble, the crowd sounds so cool. People yelling. So the bass, I don't know if I would say it's as good sounding as the first two sets, but the quality is good. I'd say the balance overall sounds pretty good. They're better than the last set. I would say the last set's the worst set so far, in my opinion. These have a very good tonal balance, I think. I'm going to do the Ori song, see if it gives me the chill factor. I like the lower treble. It's got like a nice 3K region. Strings sound good. Things are clear but not sharp. They remind me of something I've heard.
I remind you of something, huh?
Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like I've heard these before. Are you tricking me?
No?
What do they remind me of?
What they remind me of?
They sound really good. I like these. Let's do original Hotel California, which has nice bass and kick drums. Oh yeah. Steely Dan time. Some Fleetwood Mac real quick. Not bad. A lot of little details shine through without sounding overly bright. Let's hear the voices. Good mixing of balance of frequencies. They sound pretty high definition, like they don't sound rough or gritty or anything. The treble has a little bit of an elevated spot somewhere, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a peak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of formulating my thoughts on the bass. It sounds like a pretty good level. It doesn't strike me as firm like the first two, but it could just be that it's... I don't know. It sounds good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'd say maybe it's not as uber deep sub bass focused, but it hits low, and the bass that it does hit is pretty firm. I'd have to hear them again, but if I had to guess, I think the first two maybe had firmer sounding bass. But this has good hitting low bass. It hits deep. It says Sarah here.
Who sings that song? Or who?
Sarah by Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac? Oh, okay.
Some David Bemwell here.
I only listened to one Fleetwood Mac album. I'm a fake fan.
The Greatest Hits?
No.
Oh, okay.
Rumors.
The Green Flower Greatest Hits is their best album, in my opinion. Okay, cymbal test.
Isn't that kind of sacrilegious to say that Greatest Hits is the best?
Of all the Fleetwood Mac I've ever heard, it really does capture all the songs I like the best of them, and it's good mastering, so the quality is good. Remember we compared our Dreams song, and like yours had more like bass, and the mastering was different? I think the mastering on the Greatest Hits sounded more like crisp and clear and tighter sounding. This has a very... They do sound a little bright.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say the bass is pretty... I'd almost say just quantitatively, it sounds pretty referenced to me. Like I like where it sits in the mix, but it's hard to gauge that sometimes because it's a little bright. So that could mean that it's a V shape, which is actually too much bass or maybe not enough mids. But just relative to listening and the perception I'm getting, I like where the bass is sitting in the mix. It sounds pretty good. Excuse me. Trying to think of another bass song for testing. Let's see. Go back to some BT here. Not bad, not bad. Some Fogelberg.
Sounds like you're saying Vocalberg.
Fogelberg.
I prefer to say Vocalberg.
Yeah, they sound good. I think I would need more time with these to kind of really formulate an opinion, but they're not maybe impressing me as much as the first two sets in terms of, I guess I'd say, technical performance, and yet I don't hear anything that they're lacking. Maybe the bass shape isn't as sub-bass focused, which is my taste. I don't really know, though. It sounds like the bass is good. There's nothing really wrong with the bass. The treble might be a little bright in some spot that I can't pinpoint, but I don't hear any major peaks. Like, it sounds pretty clear and smooth. So I would gauge, like I said, 1 and 2 are the best, maybe. This might be tied with second place, and then the other one was last. That's my final answer.
Okay.
I would guess these cost... I don't know. Sound and feel, $250. That's my guess. I think I said that for every IM, didn't I?
No, some you said 150.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
These could be cheaper just because I know that IMs have been getting so good. I mean, these might be one of those Linsol $50 wonders or something, but just the feel of the action. Whoa, what is that? Is there a hole in it? They have holes in them.
There's switches on the back.
Oh. Do you have to get something inside of it? Because it feels like it's a hole.
Yeah, you can't really do it by fingers.
What does the switch do? Bass boost or something?
Adjust the bass, and there's like two that adjust the bass and two adjust kind of the lower treble.
Oh, interesting. I would have to try that. That might make a difference. Okay. What next? Anything?
I mean, that's all the IEMs. I think what I could do,
Before I know what they are?
is, yeah, before you know what they are, I have screenshots of all of their frequency responses
Oh,
that I
yes.
want you to have.
Yes, can we do
And
this?
then you get, like, match them.
Okay.
But what's the best way for me to get those to you without you seeing? I don't want you to see chat right now because chat's talking about stuff.
Could you just can you email them to me?
Email?
I mean, that's the only way I could think without seeing them. Or could you send them a private Discord chat to me, and I can just click on that?
Yeah, if you can get there without seeing chat.
Yeah, I can just slide my swim scene over just enough to see the left side here. Yeah, I can't see the chat at all.
Okay.
Can I see my thing though? Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
All right.
Where the hell are you? There you are. Oh, it's already there. Duh. Okay. I'm at the chat. I see your speak on stage screenshot you sent earlier. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I got them.
Okay, I'm going to send them to you. I'm going to put these in chat as well.
Okay, this is awesome.
Else.
I like this. Oh,
so these are
the fun part.
Numbered. You might not be able to see the numbering. Okay, they're colored.
So
see it purple. We have a dark blue. We have a lighter blue, and we have a greenish color.
Did I have even remotely accurate descriptions to these? Do you think? No.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, like in the treble,
they're all pretty close. It looks like.
Yeah. Like I said, I sent you all stuff that I thought you would like.
Okay. I'm gonna do. Can I do a real quick preliminary guess and then listen to each one again?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. Ay caramba. I'm gonna guess the green one was number 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess the purple one was number 2. And then I'm gonna guess the blue one was the last one I heard. So the dark blue was number 3. Does that make sense? You getting all that?
Okay. Yep.
So I would say if I'm 100% right, you can just tell me now. If not, then I'll listen to them all.
So you're guessing the purple one.
Green is number 1. Purple, like medium purple color, I would say is number... Man, I don't know. That's got the treble. That's tough. It's either purple or dark blue, or was the second one. I can't really remember the treble enough from the top of my head to remember. One of them is peakier than the other, and I don't remember which one that is. So I'm going to say green is number 1, dark blue is number 2, blue is number 3, purple's number 4. Final answer.
If I followed you correctly, I think you got them all right, actually.
That's what they look like they would sound like to my ear.
Wait, so sorry. The purple one...
So is green number 1?
Green is number 1.
Okay, and then blue is number 2, dark blue?
Dark blue is number 2.
Yep, and then the last one is... I'm trying to remember what order they were in. Yeah, I thought... I'm forgetting the order, not the frequencies, but I think the blue was the... blue was the third one, and purple was the fourth one, I think. No, hold on a second. Gosh, dang it. It was bass, and then it was less bass but tight bass. And the third one I said I didn't like as much. The fourth one I said I liked more than the third one. So I think the blue one is the fourth one, and the purple is the third one.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that right? So green, dark blue, purple, light blue.
Okay.
I could easily be switching the purple and the light blue, though, because they're not far off in terms of bass, and that's probably my main criteria is the bass, because the blue has the softest bass. So whatever one I said has the softest bass response, I would assume is the blue one. The purple has a...
So you described number 3 as having rounded bass?
Then that's the blue one. So number 3 is blue.
Okay.
If that's how I was describing it. But then number 4, if that's true, and 4 is purple, I don't think...
You described that as having less bass, that was less tactile?
Right, but it also didn't have any obvious treble issues, did it? Did I say it had treble issues?
I think you said it maybe sounded like it was a little bit bright.
Okay. Did I describe the one that had round bass in any other way?
I mean, you did, but it would be hard for me to map them to...
Gotcha. That's okay. So if I had to guess, just because of the shape of the bass, I'm going to guess the blue one is whatever one I said had the rounder bass.
Okay.
And that would put the purple one as the 4th one, I guess, if that's right.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
It's my final answer with the possibility that I'm screwing the last 2 up. But I'm pretty confident about the first 2.
Okay.
I hope I'm right. But,
you want me to tell you?
Well, let me look at it one more time. So the green is definitely number 1. I know that much just because I know the base quantity was the most of all of them, and that's definitely what I'm seeing there. It's sub-bass focused. It has the most. So I'm assuming that's number 1. Number 2, the dark blue is smoother and has less peakage, if your graph is what I'm hearing. The bass is more linear and not as much amplitude, whereas the purple has more bass with a better curve. So the funny thing is I would honestly assume that the bass response of the second IEM is the purple one. I just don't remember the treble enough to know if it had that much peaking. I do actually know. I did say one had a peak at 13K, didn't I? Yeah, so I take that back. The purple one is exactly what I described as number 2. Isn't it? No, really. I think I described number 2 as having a 13K peak, which is literally a peak in that graph. So...
All right, Sean, I'm going to stop you.
Okay, stop me.
You were right before.
On the blue being number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense because, like I said, the peakiness of the treble wasn't, like, objectionable. Purple looks objectionable to me. Purple looks like...
Oh, interesting.
Like, graph-wise. So then if that's right, then is the blue one the one I thought had the rounder bass?
Yes.
So then I got them all right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. How far off was I with price?
Pretty far.
Oh, no. In a good way or bad way?
I don't know.
If
So
1 and 2 are
them-
my favorite, are either of them affordable?
One of them... So the most expensive set that I sent you is $260.
Okay, so none of them are that bad. Well,
The
us audio
next would
geeks say that, but...
Right. The next would be $190, I believe.
Okay.
And then the next would be, I think it's $130 or maybe $120.
Can I guess brands based on frequency response? Or is that not...
Sure.
Do you think I'd get it? Do I know these brands?
Do you want to know the last price?
Yeah.
$30.
Okay.
One of these is $30.
Did I guess any of the prices close to the actual price?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't remember any of them because...
Do I know the brands of each of these, or are they, like, unknown to me?
There's probably 2 of these brands you've never heard of.
Okay, so I might know half of them.
2 of them you would know, yeah.
Let's see. Are any of them Moondrop?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to guess looking at the graph. Yeah, I'm going to guess looking at the graph, the dark blue is a Moondrop.
Okay. Based on
other IEMs I've seen of theirs that have similar traits in the frequency response.
Okay.
They tend to have a huge dip at 10K. That's pretty common with most IEMs,
Right.
honestly, at D. But it's less bass, but the bass shape in the lower treble kind of has that, low treble emphasis with the dip after that. It kind of reminds me a lot of the... that's not the one I said I think it was the last one said remind me of something, right?
Correct.
So if the last one reminded me of something, and the last one was the purple one, what did it remind me
What
of?
does that remind you of?
That's a really nice frequency response until like 7K. I don't know. I mean, the response is pretty linear, so it kind of looks like a lot of IEMs, but that upper treble is brutal. Man, that 14K is like, that's what I was probably describing as bright, was that. I don't know. My final guess would probably be...
you know what?
What's that?
You know what, actually?
What?
I sent you the wrong screenshot for that one.
Oh.
I mentioned it has switches.
Oh. But it's the correct IEM, though?
It's the correct IEM, but the wrong configuration.
Okay. Send up the next one.
Here you go.
Okay.
This is what you're actually listening to.
Okay, so it's pretty similar, but the treble is reduced, so that's like the low treble setting, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, but that looks pretty similar. It actually makes the treble look a lot more like the second one, just the bass is a little bit different. And the upper treble's a little wonkier, though, I guess. Yeah? So now that I see these graphs, that's interesting, because I do think the first one was overly bassy, and I do think that graph represents that it's got more mid-bass and less upper treble, mid-treble, so that would give it a weightier feel. The second one, I'm actually surprised that's got that dip in the treble that's so deep. I wonder if the tips in my ears are shifting that resonance peak at all.
It's possible. The tips you have are not stock.
It didn't sound like there was that much of a dip in the 10K to me, but I could be wrong. If I had to guess, I'd say the second set was my favorite set too, just based on what I was saying. I like the bass of the second set a lot. The third set, I did describe... Wow, did I not describe that? The third set has that weird shape in about 800 hertz. I said it sounded scooped out or like hollow somewhere.
Yeah.
That's that. I heard that. That 800 hertz is just not the right tilt and frequency response. It doesn't sound natural at all. It's not smooth and gradual. It has like that edge to it, which when you're listening to it, it just sounds like the atmosphere is just off somehow. And I would bet you $50 if I EQ'd that center piece to be correct, it would get rid of that sound. The last set, man, it's just that upper treble. I think the last set looks phenomenal in the graph. Especially the first one you sent me too. Like if you fix the switches for the first graph you sent me, I think that looks really good. But that treble peak at like 14K is rough. I don't know if I could get past that. So, anyhow.
All right.
Well, there you go.
Any other guesses on brands? Or do we want to do a full reveal?
I mean, are any of them, what's that company? The other Moondrop one we used to get a lot of from them. They made the bunch of lady name IEMs.
Lady name IEMs?
Yeah, like they made the really small barrel shaped IEMs. They made the Oxygen. They made...
Oh, Tanschim.
Tanschim. Are any of them Tanschim?
Angel Jimmy.
Any of them?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
One of those is a Tanschim. A new Tanschim.
Okay. Because my thought... What made me guess that was the first one, honestly, but I don't know why. It's probably not, but it's something about it just made me think of that.
Okay.
So I'd say the first one's a Tanschim, the second one's a Moondrop, and I don't know the other two, but I have no idea. I'm probably way off.
All right. Now I guess I'm gonna show you pictures of them.
Okay.
So go ahead and go into main chat.
Main chat? How do I get back to that? Let's see. Super review. Okay, I'm in there.
And I will do.
Dude, those glasses are awesome. I didn't notice that they had yellow or amber sides to them.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'm going to paste pictures of them, and these are in pretty much random order. Because it's just whatever I have opened.
Sure. Wait, is there a chat window I'm supposed to be seeing? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Click the.
Adrian said he'd be scared to do this. You just have to not care. Like, I'm going to make a fool of myself, and I'm okay with that.
All right. There's pictures of the 4IMs.
Oh, that's a Tance gem, all right. The Origin. I like that metal texture. That's kind of cool. What is this? Let's see. Arpegier? Hain?
Yeah, that's the worst name ever, isn't it?
Oh, is that that's the new Moondrop? The Kaizen or whatever it is? What is it?
Cadence?
Oh, man. Yeah. I heard about that. And the other one is a triple win? So that's the cheap one, I assume?
Yeah.
The
Vivace.
Am I supposed to guess which one's which? Because that's stupidly easy with these pictures.
If you want to, yeah.
Well, the Tams gem is clearly the one I said had text on the side.
Okay.
The one that I said had a weird outer part and an acrylic side looks like the Arpegier or whatever.
Okay.
And then...
Wait, that's the one that's in your ear right now.
Yeah. Oh, that has switches in it?
Yeah.
The Moondrop, I'm really shocked I didn't notice the feeling of the shape of it because it's like Kato. Actually, no, it's actually like Illumination, isn't it? Or are they the same? They might be the same.
No, it's closer to Kato.
Okay, because I know they all have those weird angles.
But I
wow.
put it on a Dunu cable to disguise it from you.
I'm trying to remember which one felt like weird like that. It's not metal like Kato though, because I don't think I felt one that felt that heavy. So is it plastic, or is it the light metal?
No, it's metal. It's metal. It's actually heavier than Kato too. I weighed them.
Really? Maybe the cable is tricking me because I don't remember any of them being that heavy. So was that the first one, or the second one?
Second one.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so then if I had to guess by response, the first one was the Origin.
No.
No, okay. Was it the triple one?
It was the $30 one.
Really? That's pretty damn impressive, honestly.
Yeah, it's a nice sounding set. That's actually, so that one is a collab with another reviewer. He's actually a Korean reviewer. He does all of his content in Korean language, so there's not a lot of people I think in our circles are super familiar with him. ODB. Yeah, he was actually at Shenzhen when I went there.
Nice.
I got to meet him there. And I'd actually only been kind of aware of him not too long before that, because he did a review of the Grell headphone. Did I talk to you about the Grell headphone at all?
No. What's that?
You know who Axel Grell is?
Is he related to XLF?
He's like a former Sennheiser engineer who designed a headphone that you and I are both wearing right now.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, I have two headphones on.
He's like the engineer who is like the brainchild, or the HD600 is the brainchild of him, as well as like the HD800. So he's like a legendary headphone guy, and then he spun off and made his own company.
I'm surprised I don't know him, honestly.
And made this headphone called the Grell OAE1, and it is awful.
Really?
And I watched. Yeah, it's terrible. I'll send it to you.
No, don't do it. Torture me. Can it be modded, or is it like that bad?
Oh, I kind of bought it hoping that someone figures out a mod, but I haven't seen anything yet. But I was saying that ODB he did a review of it, and it was like the best review I'd seen of. Well, there weren't very many reviews of the headphone because they like didn't send it out to reviewers. I think because they know it's not good. But yeah, ODB's review was really good, and it turns out he's like an ex engineer himself. Like he used to work for Samsung or Sony or I. So he has some background in it, and this the Vivace is his collab.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if those are triple win, they were the $30 pair, I assume you said?
Yep.
So those are pretty killer entry-level IEMs. I would
Yeah,
say...
I like it. I like it.
I would say frequency response, I prefer the 02 more, but performance-wise, those sounded better to me. Like,
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how you feel about them after you've spent some time with them.
the impression I got compared to like the 02 is they didn't sound soft. They sounded more like high def almost. So that's actually cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the blue ones, are those... what are those? Were those the ones I hated?
The ARPA Gear. Oh, yeah, that's the Origin, the Tantrum Origin.
I didn't like the Origin.
Correct.
So is that because it had the bloomy bass, I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. So then the green one was the last set.
Yep.
Okay. So
Wait.
really, if I'm not mistaken, that means I like the Moondrop the most. Tied with the first one.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, that's what you described. When you were listening to him in real time, I didn't get that impression as much.
What did I say in real time?
It seemed like the treble was bothering you. There was like some crashiness or something in the treble.
That's not the one that... Is that the one that I said had the really nice bass level compared to the first one, though?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have that on overlaid with the Kato?
I mean, Squiglink does.
I can pull it up real quick.
Have you ever heard of Squiglink?
No, what is that? How do you spell that thing? It is the...
Unfortunately, the letter Q on my keyboard is broken.
Cadence. Oh my god, it's like the exact frequency response of the Kato. It's just less bass and a little
more
bit
upper mids.
different. Yeah, really. So it's fun. It's funny because as slight as that difference is, I think I prefer it to the Kato already just based on that bass that I heard. It's kind of like it fixes the bass of the Kato a little bit. And I'll be honest, I've always felt the treble of the Kato is a little, not peaky, but whatever I described, I would bet you if you had shown me the Kato blindfolded, I would have said the same thing. Because I've always felt like that's an area where the Kato is not as refined. There's something in the... I think when we started this thing, I described the Kato as grainier than the 0. So it's higher def because I think the treble is nicer shaped, but it has that weird treble thing, and that might be what I heard in this one. I don't know.
I'd be curious to, give you time to like swap tips and stuff because, like you said,
Definitely.
That's the area, and that kind of like perception of the treble can be dialed in with tips sometimes.
Yeah.
Like my favorite, I probably didn't push you into doing this more, but like my favorite set is the 7th Acoustic Supernova.
I like that one. That was
that's
really nice.
one. Yeah, that's one where like depending on the tips though, like it can be a little bit sharp in the treble, or it can be like just kind of perfect.
Sure. Yeah, I think the biggest one for me in that regard, was that Tantrum. Is it the Hana?
Yeah, maybe. There's the Hana. Yeah, the Hana and the Hana 21.
There was one of those that was like the insertion depth was brutal. Like I could like wear it 3 times in a row and get a different treble response every time. And that annoyed me. I feel like the Kato's pretty consistent. But the tip shape, like the size of the opening, kind of either changes how much upper treble there is or not. So yeah. Yeah, I think those Cadens look pretty sweet. I'll have to mess with them. Now, another really cool thing is that first set, they're $30. I mean, I could almost tell you right now, like, if you put... a slight EQ on that first set, my gosh, that would probably sound friggin' awesome. Like maybe just bump up the 5.45K region a little bit and just drop down that bass shelf just a tiny bit, and that would probably sound so friggin' good. I mean, I feel like of all the sets, and correct me if I said something different in the test, but I feel like of all the sets, that one sounded the most technically proficient to me. Like there was nothing lacking. It had high def quality to it, which is really funny because it's the cheapest set. I don't know what's up with these designers, but they got to get the cheap ones with the ones that can tune the balance right and put them together so that you can have that quality with the balance. He's asking about the Ola. Have I heard the Ola? Did you send me that one?
I don't know if I've sent you the Ola before.
Well, let me check dentReviews.
Probably not.
Because it would be on my...
But I didn't really like the Ola that much.
You didn't?
I mean, it's
No,
good.
I haven't heard
It's
that.
good. It's just... It's like a $20 set. It's on the warm side
Yeah.
and not particularly technical or anything. Like, you wouldn't really expect it to because it's $20. But, yeah, just for that reason, I found it's decent.
So do you remember the cheap one that I showed you recently that was green on AliExpress or something? It was like super cheap. It was like $20. And I asked you about it and you said it was pretty good. It was like...
What was that?
Like a go-go something, or I don't know, some weird name.
A go-go?
I'm trying to remember. But it had a really, really, really good frequency response. But when I asked you about it, you said it was okay. So I'm not sure if it had like just poor technical performance or what you thought. But I was really curious to hear that one. I can look in my Amazon. It might be in my cart. Let's see.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Um,
Or describe more of the physicality. Once you see the picture of it, describe it more for me. I'm going to blind guess what you're talking about.
okay. Give me a second. I'm looking. I have to scroll through all my Gundams.
You're a Gundam guy?
Are you serious right now?
I didn't know that.
How did we not talk about that? Dude, I love
Those
Gundams.
Gundams are for nerds.
Come on, I like Transformers and I like robots and I like all that stuff.
Yeah, Transformers are cool. Gundams are for nerds.
I'm not seeing them in my Amazon cart. I might have them. Maybe they're in a tab on my phone. Like I had them open in the browser. Yeah. They were the... Oh, sorry. They looked like News. Does that ring a bell?
They look like Dunes.
Yeah, they're
There's a lot
gray.
of Dunes.
They're gray and they look like the EST-112 in the photo anyway. They have a weird texture to them. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry, I'm way off. They were not cheap. They were $360. No, nothing? Not ringing a bell?
Looks like a Dunu, but
$360.
Texture.
They look like an alien metal.
Alien metal.
2 dynamic drivers, 6 balanced armatures.
You would think that would tell me what it was.
Want me to tell you the brand?
No.
It's on ShenzenAudio.com.
Yeah. I feel like $360 hybrid should be enough for me to know. Oh, actually.
What? You know?
Maybe. Oh, what is it?
No, you tell me.
I can't. I don't remember.
Oh, come on. One guess?
No guess.
The IO Audio Sono?
Oh, the Sogno.
Remember I asked you about those?
Sogno.
And you were like, they were okay.
The Sogno. It's Italian.
I think those are the ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's why I forgot about it, because that IM is super forgettable.
Really? Now, if in a way that you think I would like, or no?
No.
Really? The response looks amazing.
I'll send it to you.
The response
I'll send it
looks
to
like...
you. You can check it out.
So, compared to the Kaizen, or whatever that is, let's see, Cadence, it's an even more, like, scooped up bass shape that I like. The treble's filled in at the 10K, so there's no dip there. There's no real peaks. It's linear up to like 20K. Like, how is that not good? What did you not like about it? Has anyone in the chat heard the Sogno? How do you say it?
Sogno.
Sogno?
It's the Italian word for dream.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember just kind of sounding a little bit definitionless.
But I think that's your loss of hearing in the upper treble.
Oh yeah, could be.
It's all those 32-bit MP3s you're listening to.
Is it really a loss of hearing if I never started out with any?
It's all from your point of view, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'll send that one to you along with some other IMs, and
Okay.
we'll see which one you pick out as being the most boring and forgettable.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Here's the funny thing. So if you're looking at the IO on SquigLink, they have another IM.
I am, yep.
The Volare.
IO Volare?
Yep.
It looks like the same I am.
Yep. Also very forgettable.
I would say, based on the graph, though, I'd like the Sogno better.
Okay.
It's close, though.
Sogno's...
The treble of the
Sogno's
Sogno looks smoother.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't like Illumination, right?
Correct, because that one sucks.
Oh, man. The treble is like Illumination level treble. Like smooth and buttery.
Interesting.
It looks like an Illumination where they fixed the bass. Like, literally.
Okay.
That's nice.
I'll send it to you.
And a little more upper treble, which you thought the Illumination lacked. So...
Yeah.
I think you just haven't given enough time, Mark.
Yeah, it's possible.
So, of all of these earphones that I've heard, now that it's been a while, how do they compare to the Monarch?
Mark II?
Is that the one I liked? Yeah, MK2. Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at, let's see, Monarch MK2 and the Cadence. So the Cadence is actually not bad in the mids compared to Monarch. It's got less bass, but it's dynamic all over. Monarch has better treble in the upper area. Let's see. What was the other one? The Sogno? Put that back in there. Okay, so... Sogno.
Try it with your fingers up like this.
Sogno.
There you go, see?
Italian.
Comes out better.
Okay, so what's funny is the Sogno looks incredibly similar to the Monarch MK2. It's a little bit different shape in the treble. I say the Sogno looks better in the treble than the Monarch MK2, except maybe the uppermost region, but it's a little smoother in the middle treble and pretty similar overall. But the mids are a little less than the Monarch MK2, which I thought the MK2 had a softness to it, but I liked that a lot. Okay. Didn't I think that was one of my favorite IMs of all time?
Yeah, I think you were thinking about buying one.
It's just way too expensive for me. I like it. I'd love to have it, but it's not drastically better than anything for me to go expenditure-wise.
Right.
I can't talk straight. It's too late.
It is getting pretty late.
So, yeah, unless you want to talk about anything else or anything, I guess we can wrap it up. We had the Hibby. You sent me the Hibby.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
It's the best portable player I've used so far, honestly.
Based on what?
Sound quality, form factor, OS performance, software compatibility. It lacks nothing.
Were you using Power Amp on your Sony or no?
I was, and it sucks.
It sucks? Oh, okay.
It's just sluggish. It's not responsive. Gotcha. Sucks is a harsh word. The experience is harder to use because it's so tiny. The screen is tiny.
Yeah.
And when you slide and swipe between screens, there's a slight lagginess to it. On the and maybe because I have like 26,000 songs or something, like a terabyte SD card in it, I don't know. But on the Hibby, when I have my whole library scanned, it was buttery smooth. It felt very reminiscent of using my phone. I didn't feel like it was a substandard experience. When I first turned the Hibby on, holy crap, the text was small. Like I needed a magnifying glass. But I went into the display settings and just scaled it up a little bit, and it looks fine.
Yeah, I might have done that too.
But I feel like the Hibby has a nice bright screen. One thing I really like about the Hibby a lot is it gets really dim. When I'm listening to music in bed in the dark, I hate turning on the screen and it's like bright in your face. And I can turn that thing down to like almost nothing. I like that. Power output, like you said, is much more powerful than the Sony. I felt like the Sony could drive the HD600 to comfortable levels for me, but I'd be at like max volume. With the Hibby, I could get it comfortable and have another 30-40% of volume. So, I mean, I feel like it's much more powerful. I can EQ my ER4S with a 12 decibel precut and still have plenty of headroom. So power-wise, there's no question it's better. This is a subjective opinion that I have no basis whatsoever to claim other than I think I heard it. But when I was listening to the ER4S with my EQ, which I use the same EQ on my Sony and on my phone, and my PC actually, the stereo width of the Hibby seemed wider than anything I've listened to in a portable form factor ever. And what I mean is, like, I could hear instruments so far over to the side, I thought, excuse me, that there was some kind of audio enhancement turned on that was, like, widening the stereo image. And I went into all the Android settings, and there's nothing on. There was no power amp settings doing anything. And I was just listening, and everything sounded incredibly discreetly separated. So I feel like I do know for a fact that
Did you have your left and right channels mixed up?
No.
I've done that before.
No, but I know for a fact that the Sony measures pretty poor crosstalk. So I'm really curious to measure the source measurement stuff for the Hibby, because I'd love to see if it has some really good crosstalk. Then I would actually feel like maybe I'm hearing that. I never thought it was that bad on the Sony, but then, to be honest, my phone's probably not much different than the Sony. If I had to guess, it's probably not any better.
Right.
So maybe the Hibby's actually just a much better crosstalk figure, and I like that a lot because it actually made the ER4S sound more spacious because things sounded so wide. It gave a new kind of dimension to it. And again, yeah, it could be load dependent for sure, especially true. And measuring has gave me some weird anomalies too, honestly, with the Xperia phone that I have. I got some weird measurement values that didn't make any sense, honestly. But I will say that maybe the amplifier having more raw output at the equivalent perceived volume, it's less noise, wider crosstalk, more dynamic. You know what I mean? Maybe it makes that Hibby just stand out a little bit better overall. But I will say the differences are probably infinitesimally small. And if I blind tested, I wouldn't be like, wow, that sounds so much better. But in the perceived experience I had all night long listening to different music, I was actually really shocked at some of the songs. Like when I was listening to Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, when the chorus comes and you hear the guys' voices singing with the girl voices in the harmonies, I could like pick out the voices so freaking well. And I know that song intimately well that I was just like almost blown away at how well the voice stood out as a discrete voice. So as slight of a difference as it was perceived as being pretty prominent. So with that, in the form factor, in the Android, in the power amp, in the bright screen, and honestly the battery life, the A105 battery, I think I have a better, I think my experience with the A105 is even worse than yours. Like I've tweaked it, stopped all services possible. I run it in airplane mode with like low screen brightness, never used Bluetooth, and in 2 days of not using it, the thing's dead. Unless I turn it off, like power it off completely. With the Hibby, I've been listening to it on Bluetooth in the car, on Bluetooth at work, with my headphones at night, and I haven't charged it in 2 days. And I think it's at like 50% battery. So it's definitely better battery than the 105. So all of that summarized for $150. Are you kidding me? I'm like, yes, I'm buying this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
Because that's an upgrade to my Sony. And I love the Sony. It's a great player, but it's an upgrade in every single way, I think. So,
I assume the crosstalk improvements you're talking about were over Bluetooth, right?
No, headphone, ER4S. You're being funny?
Yeah, I was being funny.
Okay.
I was thinking though, one way that maybe you could test crosstalk and like how audible it is just like putting together a track that only plays in one channel or the other, and then listening to it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, what I was also thinking is picking the widest song I know of and using the Sony in that and like time sync the songs and use my AB switch to go between them and see if I hear any change in the width.
Yeah. Have your wife hit the button for you.
A half blind test.
Yeah.
So
that Hibby is related to one of my two most controversial reviews this year, which
why is
was
that?
my review of this thing.
That is huge. Holy
This
crap.
is- Yeah, this is Hibby's flagship DAP. This is a $2,000 player.
Whew. Okay.
And I mean, I don't think it's going to be controversial amongst people here in the chat, but I could not hear a difference.
Sure.
I tried really hard to hear a difference, and like I even like initially thought maybe I did hear a difference, and I hooked up to like a little blind switcher. I was like, no, never mind. And then like I measured it, and then there was a very obvious difference. I was like, holy shit, how did I not hear that? And then I realized it was because I accidentally left the PEQ filter on. So I turned that off. I was like, oh no, they're exactly the same. Okay.
I've never done that before, ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will.
But yeah, I could not hear a difference.
Yeah, I will be the first to say that what I think I'm hearing in the Hibby could easily just be that I was relaxed in bed and I was more hearing a relaxing... Because when I lay in bed sometimes, it's just, quiet and you're relaxed, and I think that changes your perception. So I could very easily hook it up to my AB switch and say there's no difference at all between the Sony and the Hibby. I don't know. But my initial impression was that even from the first time I played a song on it, it had a smoother quality to it than the Sony, I guess I'd say. But I will say that I am incredibly sensitive to noise. So the Sony has
I mean, that is one. Yeah, I was going to say that's the one thing that I can confidently tell you sounds good about that player is it is super, super silent, even on the most sensitive earphone I have.
I think I perceive that when I hear
not.
it. Yeah. I'm so used to the Sony when I heard it. That was the first thing I said is this is like dead silent. And to be honest, that could be part of what I'm perceiving in the stereo clear. All the things I'm describing could just be the lack of any hiss at all. Just makes everything stand out a little bit more against the background. And that, again, small differences to me are very perceivable in the scheme of things because I when I'm mixing music and stuff, I make half decibel changes. And I mean, when you're listening for those details and you get used to that, as an experience, you might hear something that you might not notice when you're just doing a quick A/B test. It's a hard thing to quantify and to gauge, but I do think I've heard the noise aspect of it for sure. But how much I would hear a side-by-side test, I don't know. I'll have to test it. And I'm going to measure it. I assume it's roller flat. I assume it has no high number of THD or anything like that. It's probably really high spec if I had to guess. I haven't looked at it, but...
I mean, it just uses like a fairly basic, I think, Cirrus Logic DAC, which is, I think, the same brand that Apple uses.
I was going to say that was in the iPod Classic. There used to be audiophiles used to argue about the Wolfson versus the Cirrus DACs that were in the iPods. The Wolfsons were considered warmer and more analog sounding to a lot of people, and the Cirrus were considered digital. But for people like me, I always thought the Cirrus sounded clearer and more like defined.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's one of those things that in a blind test, most people probably could never tell the difference. You're talking about like...
I mean, is it one of those things where like the name Wolf sounds kind of like warm and woolly?
Maybe, I have no idea. Oh yeah, the brown burr. I remember those.
Brown burr, that one's definitely the warmer one, right?
I don't know how much difference there would be, honestly, in any of them.
I'm looking up the model number of the DAC in this thing because Lane seems to recognize or to be more familiar with them than I am. I just see Cirrus Logic and then a bunch of numbers, and I'm like, whatever. It's
like 2884 or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually, back in the day, I used to love my iPod Classic if it had the right headphones. It sounded really good, but it had a congested quality to it, and I always put it down to like either the stereo imaging or dynamic range, or I don't know what it was, but it just always had like, it was perfectly clean. It sounded really high quality, but it had like a congested, like the mix didn't sound as good as something like the Hibby or the Sony. For the longest time, my
Yeah,
benchmark was the Sansa Fuse V1.
yeah.
I think that's one of the first players that really was beyond the threshold of what I think most people could ever hear being better than something else. In other words, once you're at that level, you could get a better DAC that performs and measures better, but I don't think you're probably going to hear it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's unlikely. I think people in a true blind test would probably be like, oh yeah, no, there's not any difference.
Yeah, I bought one of the Sansa, like the original Sansa clips. I don't even remember why I bought it because I was not into audio at the time. I think I was just into like small MP3 players.
Sure.
And I even remember something standing out to me then. I was like, wow, this sounds like just really crisp. It sounds contrasty and clean.
My understanding is the first clip in the clip zip had the same exact inner components as the Fuse V1. But people were really picky because the Fuse, or was it the V2? I don't know. Whatever Fuse was the audiophile one is the one I had. I think it might have been the V2 actually. I can't remember. But there was like the V3 and then they changed it and people were like, that's garbage. It measures worse. And the Clip Zip Plus Nano 5, whatever. I don't know. The next one they came out with was garbage too. So people like started selling the old ones for like a lot of money on eBay. And I still have a Clip Zip and a Fuse, whatever version it is, and they both sound phenomenal. And the freaking Clip Zip is like, the smallest thing in the world.
Why can I not find this DAC freaking model number? It's almost like this product isn't aimed at audiophiles, so they don't put the branding.
Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can beat you.
Oh, here we go. It's the CS43131.
The CS43431?
Is that what I said?
43131?
Yeah. Does that mean anything to you?
To me personally? Or to someone else?
Yeah, to you. Sure.
To me, no.
Blaine, because you see...
Okay. Not at all. I have no idea about DACs.
Oh, I can't reach. I'll be right back. Don't say anything important.
According to Reddit, because, Reddit is the most knowledgeable people on the planet, without doubt.
Yeah. Blaine's saying it's very cheap. You find it in sub $20 dongles, and it's the best sounding thing.
The Redditors are saying it's one of the best sounding DACs you can get.
That particular one?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny.
I just reached over into my cabinet to pull
It's
this
a high-performing DAC headphone amplifier with excellent audio quality, a wide range of headphones, drives 2 volts RMS out of 600 ohm, high impedance, blah, 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 blah. It can power the DT1990 Pro adequately. Yeah, it just says that it's one of the best DAC amp chips available on the market. It has low power, but is typical for integrated chips for USB-powered devices. I don't know. I have no idea. Like I said, Reddit is obviously the best, so Is that the iPad Classic Thin?
I think this was whatever the first one that did video. I don't know.
The color, iPad Video or iPad Color?
It does have a color screen, I believe, yeah. But I broke this out. I mean, I bought this originally. I don't know if you see it. I had it with a custom engraving.
Yep, I had mine custom engraved too, I think.
And it says Game Fan. I used to have my own website that said it was called Jaded Game Fans.
You are so lame. I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
But anyway, what was I saying? So I broke this out a couple years ago when I got into audio, and I was like, oh yeah, people say they like this thing. So I revived it, broke out my 30-pin cable, charged it, and then hooked it up to, I think I converted some FLAC files to ALAC format so I could open them up in iTunes and transmit them over here. And I thought it sounded really warm and mushy. And I don't know how much of that is to do with whatever, DAC amp combo
Sure.
is in this thing,
Well, I hate to
or
say it,
if
but there was a few iPod original models like that were known for not having good quality, and that's why people went
okay.
with the. I think it was the classic, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the color or something. One of them had a really good, but the video or the other model didn't. I don't know. It's kind of weird. There were all sorts of arguments. And I don't know how much merit there is to those arguments, but I do remember at the time when I
Right.
had the classic, I got it because it was considered one of the better audio performances. But I
My
sold
other
it long ago.
hypothesis was my other hypothesis was that because I was transmitting, or I was starting with ALAC files, that maybe it was like transcoding them to put them on the device. Maybe this doesn't play lossless. I don't know.
It did.
And so maybe it
Well,
was
that one I don't
transcoding
know.
them.
Maybe
Mm.
the classic did though. Yeah, I know when you have iTunes on the ones that don't support lossless, it automatically there's even a setting you can see that says convert to AC, whatever, whatever.
Right.
I do miss that experience though. I kind of like the iPod form factor with the wheel, and
Yeah.
the
Nice.
Sansa Fuse is the closest thing to it with a physical spinning wheel, which I kind of like. The Sansa Fuse is really nice. The only thing I don't like about the Sansa Fuse is Rockbox. On the one hand, I love it. It's open. You can mod it. It's got some awesome features. PEQ. It's great, but it's just not a great interface design wise. With the right tweaking and the right configuration, you can get it to be awesome. But it's just a lot of work. And then when something goes wrong and it crashes, I used to have my Fuse crash with Rockbox, and you'd have to let the
Hmm.
battery die. You couldn't. There was no fix for it. You had to just wait a month for your friggin' battery to die. And of course, it had a pretty good battery, so it never died. It would stay frozen for like literally a month or two. And if you had it fully
Yeah.
charged,
Yeah.
forget it. Just put it in a drawer and just forget the damn thing. But there was no way to get it unbricked other than to let the battery die. And then you charge it and it turned on. It was great. And that was just
Yeah.
a bug that I hated. And it happened so many times, I just stopped using it. That's why I stopped using my Fuse.
Blaine's asking why not just open it. I assume that was one of those
It
units. Like,
was,
there's no screws around it
no,
or
it
anything,
was,
right? It's probably like glued together.
people had instructions on how to do it, but you really risked breaking it easily. It was not an easily removable battery. Um, and I didn't want to break it because it's my favorite player at the time, so I just was like, I'll let it sit in the drawer. But then I got the Sony, and then I kind of just never went back to the Sansa.
Um,
But the Sansa had with Rockbox, it unlocked it so you could have a terabyte SD card in it. So I had all my music in lossless. I had like 500 gigs on the thing, and it worked great. No problems. I had a custom. I actually, if you go on Rockbox's website, I have custom themes that I've released on their official website.
wow, nerd.
Yeah, I like them actually. I wish I could get them on my modern players. I designed them to be kind of like minimal and clean and simple, and I think they came out pretty nice. But I made a night vision one for like when I was stargazing. So I actually made everything red and with a black background, so it was like not destroying your
Nice.
night vision. And then I had one
Yeah.
that was just kind of a simple white, clean look, kind of like Apple almost, but just a little more minimal. Um,
Hmm.
I wonder if they're still up there. I'll look here. Rockbox Sansa Fuse
I'll be right back.
themes. Sure. Themes. Let's see. Oh, are they still here? You gotta be kidding me. I think they are. Let's go. Who wants to see my garbage Fuse themes? Are they here? Oh, they are. They're still up. Let's go. Once he gets back, I'll see if he can pull them up so we can see the geekiness. All right, go to Rockbox, themes.rockbox.org real quick. Can you share your screen? And yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Themes.rockbox.org.
.org. Yep. And then just search for Fuse, and it's the Fuse V2. It's probably at the bottom of the list, I think. Whoops.
How do I find it?
Yeah, I just used to do a find in page and type fuse. Fuze. Didn't find it?
Oh, the Z.
Yeah, V2. There you go.
Okay.
And then just do a search for Sean, Sean.
Where am I? Oh, on this page?
Yeah, yep. There you go, those three. So the first one is my night vision one.
Wow.
See how it's all red and black?
Yeah.
And then the second one, I think, was probably my favorite one. If you look at the bar and all, just the look of it was kind of very simple. And
Dawson's Creek.
I did that as a joke. It's actually a really good album. It's Adam Fields. I've talked with him in real life, actually. He does soundtrack music for things. So it's the orchestral stuff from the show.
Okay.
And then the last one is actually based off of the original Fuse color scheme, but I made the interface more like simplistic and clean. There's nothing amazing on here,
Very
but
cool.
it was fun to do it.
Man. Downloaded 6,000 times. Nice.
But the one I used almost exclusively was actually the red one. Because when you turn the screen brightness up, it's easy to see, and at night you turn it down, and it's like really easy on the eyes.
Oh.
But so, have you ever heard of XM Play? Anyone ever heard of that?
XM Play? No.
Yeah. So it's a really awesome lightweight Windows audio player. Super lightweight, super minimal. It has a couple plugins you can get, and it has themes. And it has...
But does it whip the llama's ass?
Yeah, with Osseo. It whips the llama's Osseo. But I've actually been working on 2 themes for that, and I'm almost done with one. And I am actually... did I show you the theme I did for that one in Photoshop? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I'll have to show you once it's released, but that I'm actually incredibly happy with. It's very modern, like much more high def and like modern looking than those Sans of Fuse ones. So if anyone uses XM Play, I hopefully will have that released soon. It's pretty cool. Is that the clip?
That's the clip. This is my clip. This is before they had the memory card. So this only has 2 gigabytes of space, and that's it.
That doesn't look like the clip. It doesn't have the square buttons. It has a wheel.
This is original.
So what was the one with the square buttons, the Clip Plus?
That might have been when they added the memory card slot.
So the clip is, let's see.
This is the 2 gigabyte version.
So the Clip Plus, yeah, the Clip Plus changed it to square buttons around a center button.
Gotcha.
Interesting. So I don't know how...
an actual wheel.
You like the sound of that one?
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I assume it's probably the same as the Clip Plus. I don't know, but the Clip Plus is the one that was kind of renowned for its quality.
Look at that sad port.
Wow. I'm amazed they fit it in there. It's right to the edge. Is it a physical wheel?
This port's better than my... No, it's just clicking. I was going to say, mini USB is better than micro USB.
Yeah, it doesn't break.
Yeah, micro USB sucks. And micro USB is like sharp to the fingers.
And it's hard to fit it in just right sometimes.
Gross. Whoever invented micro USB?
It's kind of like micro HDMI. That's garbage too. I don't think I've seen any worse offender for breaking cameras than having a freaking micro HDMI connector on it. So many people have complained that it just breaks and then you can't use your camera. I mean, you can use the camera, but not for HDMI. You're thinking, I see it. Smoke's coming out of your ears.
No, I was just trying to find, while we were talking about themes that you've made, I was trying to find the theme page for a watch face that I made.
Oh. Actually, I wonder if I have that theme for X and Play on the website. Let's see. We are probably boring the hell out of our fan base. Your fan base. I don't have a fan base, but you do.
All right. Here, I'll show this. So this was the, this isn't the place to download it because that site's dead now. But this
Friend is cool. I mean, you're right. Mark doesn't really have fans either, so.
These are all, on Discord, it's mostly homies.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, mostly. I think all these people, apart from Timmy, I've met in person,
Oh, awesome. Cool.
and I haven't met Timmy in person just because he lives in Japan.
Oh, that's even more awesome. That's like the only place in the world I've always wanted to go. That's my dream vacation. I may never come back if I go there.
Yeah, this is a watch face I designed for a Pebble,
Okay, I remember that.
and
Yeah.
then yep. Here, this is my favorite thing about it. You ready for this? There's an ad. Look at all these clones that exist for this other watch system.
Hmm.
That's the best thing in the world to see my shit cloned.
All right, if I come to Japan, Timmy, you're gonna have to give me a tour. I've always wanted to go to Kyoto and like the more, like rural towns and stuff. They look gorgeous, especially in the winter when you guys get snow. That's awesome.
Do you recommend
Oh,
Japan?
nice. That's awesome. That would be so awesome. Okay, let's go, Mark. Have a trip. Yeah, this might be blasphemous. I'm gonna probably embarrass myself because he's actually from Japan. But I've heard that The Last Samurai is actually really well received in Japan, and that's like my favorite movie of all time. Best soundtrack of all time by Hans Zimmer. Gorgeous scenery, beautiful culture, the plot. Like I love it. And I was shocked when I found that. Yes, it is actually. Um, but I was reading online about like how accurate is that movie, and it's relatively accurate. Like the sword fighting and the martial arts are actually pretty spot on according to some Japanese like martial arts experts. And the history is kind of made up a little bit, but it's based on some real stuff. But yeah, I was shocked when it said like is Japan like really received it well, like they liked it a lot. Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to make up something. It's a movie. Yeah, that's definitely the timelines were fudged a lot. Yep, they were gun boys. It's actually funny too. I was never a Tom Cruise fan. Like I was like whatever, but I think he did good in that movie. That's his best movie in my opinion. But if you don't know the Hans Zimmer Last Samurai score, that is a phenomenal soundtrack. It has everything from beautiful, soft, lush strings to bombastic battle music to everything in between with traditional Japanese instruments, and it's really beautiful. Really high quality recording. So I definitely recommend that. Anyway, yes, I want to go to Japan though. It looks nice. Even the cities just look beautiful. Like they're so clean, and the way people have just a much different attitude about eating in public and respecting each other's privacy and everything. It's really cool. And they're very high tech, and they like their Gundam. I also wanted to see those life-size Gundam. Those look awesome.
They have Gundam in Japan?
They have life-size Gundam that move.
Yeah. By life size, you mean like 20 stories tall or something?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if 20 stories, but
Yeah.
like, really big.
100 foot tall or something?
Yeah. Real nerd shit. Oh yeah. Yeah, the last one I built, oh man, I'm getting super geeky with them. I did what was the one I just did? I've done a couple recently. I can't remember which one it was, but they have one that I really want to get. It's a like a mod kit, or I forget what you call it. Whatever they call it. But you buy it and it's an addition to the actual model. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. That's awesome. I'm gonna show you the sexiest Gundam ever made. Ready for this? If I can find it.
I'm actually kind of scared.
Not literally, not a
I feel
female
like,
Gundam.
I feel like if I Google sexy Gundam,
No,
I don't
don't do
want to put
that.
that in.
Don't do that. No, this is it's a variant of my favorite Gundam that someone customized. I don't know why the word is eluding me, but whatever the word is, where they make like silicone molds and stuff, and they kind of customize their own kit, and you buy the kit and add it to it. I forget what I don't know why I can't think of the word. Where is it? It's the, I think is it the high new mod. This thing is so friggin' awesome if I can find it. It's a version of the like high new Gundam, I think, or I don't know how many people know Gundam models here, but conversion kit. That's what I was talking about. It's a conversion kit. Gosh, couldn't even think of that.
What does it convert?
It converts a certain Gundam to like a modified version of it. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. The RX-93.
What am I looking at?
I'm going to put it in the chat. Hold on to your butt.
Oh, okay.
This here. That is like, there's nothing sexier than that. That's like the most badass thing I've ever seen. And it's so incredibly detailed and well designed.
Did you build that?
The conversion kit alone, not the base Gundam, is $187.
Yeah.
So it's not. There's a link to it if you want to see it. But like I really like the styling of the colors. It's kind of my Sean Ivory colors going on. All the little components are like really high quality, and it's just awesome. It looks incredible. If you look at a close up, I can try to get my computer to work here.
Have you ever played the game or heard of the game Zone of the Enders?
No. Anyway, that's what it looks like. So if you like Gundam, and I'm pretty sure, again, I'm not like a Japanese expert or anything, but I think that specific Gundam, not the conversion kit, but the RX is a pretty common and popular one in Japan. Like they like it as well. And that looks pretty cool. What is that?
That's from Zone of the Enders.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, those wings on the Gundam kind of reminded me of that.
Nice. So is that like a CG animated series?
No, it's a video game on PlayStation 2.
Oh,
One of the best PlayStation 2 games ever made. IMO.
Really? And what's it called?
It's a Zone of the Enders. It's a
Zone
Hideo
of
Kojima
the
game.
Enders. Oh, I've seen that cover before. I probably saw it in the stores when it was out 30 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So is it a fighting game?
One,
like robot
the
fights?
second one called The Second Runner. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. It's like a 3D action, kind of like a Devil May Cry type.
Cool. I like that. Anyway, well, I guess we should probably wrap it up. It's getting kind of late. We said that like an hour ago.
It is. Yeah. Real quick though, I wanted to show this because I feel like I've talked to you about these things before, but I haven't showed them to you.
Emulator?
This is my latest little emulator machine.
And how much is that one?
How much would you think? Look at it. So it can play up to PlayStation 1 games very, very well.
Okay. Show me the bottom.
Got dual analogs. Got USB. We got 2 micro SD cards. Headphone jack. We got USB up top.
Okay. I don't know. I would guess $60.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was like $55.
Yeah. I mean, it looks around the... I've seen a lot of emulators of that style that are around that price range, which is fine. I mean, it's funny. I'm one of the wasteful people that got an analog pocket because they're not cheap. But emulation-wise, the first thing I did is mod it, and I have it, every system I can on it. But
Right.
I do not like the form factor of it at all. Like,
really?
The shoulder buttons are awkward as hell. It's a Game Boy, like original Game Boy form factor with shoulder buttons on the back. So for my hands, what you're holding, or like a Game Boy Advance is my favorite system of all time. I have that. I showed you the Game Boy Advance I modded, right?
I don't know.
I put the LCD screen in it with the backlight and the translucent green
Yeah, I
case.
feel like I remember you maybe talking about it, but I don't know if I ever saw it.
Let me see. I might have it in the
Remember
chat. Yeah, let me search real quick.
Oh, okay.
I might have sent it to you.
When did you finish it?
That was a while ago. Because you had one too.
Okay.
Didn't you do one? A mod of Game Boy Advance?
I bought one that was modded, yeah.
Oh, you're a slacker. Got it.
Yeah. I don't have those skills. Especially soldering.
I wish Discord had a picture history where you could just like, I don't know if you've ever used Texture on the Android, but like you can just hit media and it shows you every picture you sent to someone in a list. That would be so cool.
You can use the search function and type in
Type.
#image.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You're so smart, Mark.
You can even put from Lewis Dent #image.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, all these fancy search terms. That resulted with nothing.
You've posted no images.
Oh, I was in streamer mode and it was masking my username and that actually affected the search.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's streamer mode. I don't really understand it.
It just masks your name, I guess, so that people can't see your Discord name. Oh, that's kind of weird.
I don't get it. Like, why, if I'm streaming,
Wouldn't you want people to know your name?
probably. You think so? Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to remember roughly when I sent that to you, because I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. I'm just scrolling really quick looking for green, because it was very bright green. Does anyone else in the chat get into the Game Boy stuff or mod emulators?
You don't want to play any old ass games like me? Because I'm old ass.
Or you're just ass?
Yeah, both. Por que no los dos?
Lo siento.
This game right here is freaking an amazing game.
Wipeout
3.
I have all the Wipeouts ever made on the original PlayStations.
You ever play Wipeout 3? This one's so good. It's so hard.
Yeah, I have all of them. I have the original PS1 and all the Wipeouts, physical Wipeouts.
Nice.
That's probably one of my favorite series of all time, video game series. I love it.
You don't have this one, actually. 'Cause this one
Wipeout
was
3?
only released in Europe.
I have
This is
Wipeout 3.
Wipeout 3 Special Edition. So it has tracks from the older games.
I'm trying to think of which one I have. I know
Nightblend.
it has a fancy case, but I don't know if it's special
Yeah, you
edition.
probably have Wipeout 3. I have Wipeout 3 as well.
Gotcha. Man, I can't find this thing.
But yeah, I'm getting tired too.
All right. I probably won't be able to find this in time because I have no idea what that
Lights
is.
off.
Can I just type game? Nope. Mod? Nope. All right. Next time. But yeah, it's cool. It's the translucent green, like really nice looking case with the LCD, the IPS V2. It's a pretty popular Game Boy Advance one. So I will catch you guys later. It was good doing this. It was fun. I don't know you guys as well as Mark, but it's nice embarrassing myself in front of you. So I'll check them all out, get used to them, and I'll let you know what I think.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Catch you guys later.